us millennials are aging well. I think a lot of people are, actually. I think a lot of people are. I think the millennial generation is aging, not just physically but mentally, a bit better because they still have access to the internet, which means they still intertwine with people of different ages and they don't get stuck in their bubble of people the same age. A lot of them don't have kids, which means they're more likely to have friends that are not exactly their age, because when you have kids, you tend to just make friends with parents that have kids of the same age because they're in class together or stuff like that. And I feel like you become stuck in a little time bubble. So I think a lot of millennials, not just physically, but yeah, like mentally, are aging a little better. Have you seen how some Gen Z have aged? Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that Gen Z are into, they've done, whatever, that physically ages them really badly, and I don't think they realize it. Yeah, they are aging worse. It's just a lot of trends that are bad for you, that are really bad for you. And I think overall, physically, it's gonna be not so good. No, not like steroids. No. Yeah, they're all on steroids. I think, vapes are one of the worst. Vapes are one of the worst. With millennials, yet some of the older millennials did smoke quite a bit, but that was kind of like dead with millennials. And then vaping came up, but you didn't really see younger millennials vaping. It wasn't really around when they were in school. So instead, it's more just like Zoomers. And to be fair, there are a lot of millennials at their current ages that are also vaping, to be honest. But yeah, smoking and drinking, not really popular with millennials, but with Gen Z, a lot of that stuff has actually come back really heavily. Because there are so many things that make you feel like it's not really that bad. Like, oh, vaping's not as bad as smoking or whatever they sell you on. But that shit literally ages you the same way smoking does. Not as badly, but pretty bad. Pretty bad. And it's not good. Yeah, it's bad in different ways, exactly. Exactly. So, I don't like to see it. So it's crazy to you to see 18 to 20-year-olds getting lip fillers and nose jobs. Yeah, it's a lot more cosmetic surgery in Gen Z on average. I remember seeing a study about that. They were talking about the effects of social media on their vanity. They're just talking about vanity in general and what they're doing. And they were saying like the percentage of Gen Z folks that have these things done is a lot higher than millennials ever had. And the thing is, some of this is not a big deal, but some of it does have lasting effects. Like lip filler, if you get a little lip filler and you decide you don't like it and you dissolve it later, you can inject something that dissolves what it is. It's just hyaluronic acid. It's actually a very natural thing to have in your body. But either way, if they dissolve it because you decide you don't want it anymore, number one, it doesn't dissolve all of it. There's always trace amounts left. It just doesn't get all of it. Number two, it will eventually get reabsorbed into the body, but it takes years. Number three, depending on how much filler you put in your body in different areas, you stretch the skin out. So even if you dissolve the filler, now you're like a little bit like a deflated balloon. And so a lot of the procedures people are getting are doing that. I know a lot of people have gotten filler nose jobs. So it's not a full nose job where like you put an entire implant in there and you shave down bone or anything like that. They just get filler injections into tiny, tiny spots to like smooth out a bump, do this, do that. And that, again, bows you out a little bit. It's additive. So a lot of people reshape their nose just using that filler. And then the skin in that area is very, very delicate, very thin. It stretches to accommodate and everything. And now you have extra skin there. And again, filler dissolves over time. Sometimes people get it dissolved because they don't want it anymore. But either way, you just like created more skin in that really tiny area that normally, it would have no reason to really have much stretching going on. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of like young people getting Botox as well, which always starts out okay and then usually doesn't go well later if you have more than like one injection. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I think in their youth they just don't need. They just don't need it at all. Not just they don't need it, they shouldn't get it. Saggy nose skin's a wild thing. It's not crazy. It's just that if you have that filler dissolved or it goes away a little bit over time, then you end up with more wrinkling in that area. So it's not like you'd have saggy skin because no one's filling their nose to the point where they'd have so much extra skin that it would sag if dissolved. It's more just that you get wrinkling in those areas because there's just a little more skin, so it's a little less taut. It's like a little looser. And anywhere where your skin's a little loose, as you age, you're gonna wrinkle. So that's just how it is, man. That's how it is. You want to get an injection, get a weird flaccid nose. Yeah, just slowly get an implant and then slowly fill the tip of your nose and one day just ask for it to be deflated. Just be like, yeah, can you dissolve that shit? And then you've just got a skin flap. Hell yeah. You think about Botox in your mandible, but you have TMJ and that could help with it? Yeah, no. It's not inherently a bad thing. The problem is that most people get more than they need, or they get it in areas they shouldn't. If you have TMJ, do it. But just know, obviously talk to multiple doctors about this and about other treatments for TMJ in case you can do something else. But what Botox does is they inject it into the muscle and it breaks down some of the muscle. So if you have a lot of extras, there's some people that like clench their jaw when they sleep, and then they end up with like huge, like on the side of their face, back near their molars, they end up with like huge amounts of muscle just kind of sticking out, and it gives them a certain shape. A lot of people get that dissolved a little bit. But yeah, it goes in and it kind of breaks down muscle tissue. So you have to be really careful about that. And that's why people like can't move their face anymore sometimes when they get too many injections, because they've broken it down to the point where the muscle just can't really like move anymore. So, you know, but if you have an area where you have excess, it's worth it, I feel. But obviously you have to talk to a lot of medical professionals and check, because I think your own perception of your face is different than how other people see it. So you might be like, oh my God, my jaw is so huge, but someone else might be like, actually, you look really normal. Just be your age and LARP as someone your age, you know what I mean? Tell kids to get off your lawn, get pissed at people and don't have them get pissed back, you know?